Hello, welcome to another video. Today we are working out what I'm going to be reading in February with the help of Fictionary. It is February's Fictionary TBR. If you don't know what Fictionary is, it is the board game I've made based on Pictionary to help me pick the books that I'm going to read each month. So we have got 5 categories. I've forgotten how many books I'm picking a month at this stage. Obviously I always just use this as guidelines and don't firmly hold myself to it if I don't fancy the book at the time, because I am predominantly a mood reader, but I do like the guidance that this gives me. So I think today we're going to go for 5 books. I mean, it's a shorter month, 5 books, I feel like that works. I'm not putting any pressure on myself this year. My reading goal is 1 on Goodreads and I have already hit it, spoilers. So I'm removing the pressure. So 5 books sounds about right. In terms of books I would like to get onto this TBR, I have recently got a couple of new books. So I've got The Cloisters, I've also got How to Sell a Haunted House. I've also got a couple of ones that I picked up at charity shops recently, which I have right here. So I have these 3 that I picked up recently at charity shops that I would quite like to try and read maybe at least one of. I don't really know though. Beyond that, we'll just see what comes up. Okay, roll number 1. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Appearance. Roll number 1 is appearance. The prompt is green cover. Okay, green cover, I feel like The Cloisters has a green cover? Where did I put the book? Okay, in my office, this has definitely got green within that cover. It's going on the TBR! Well, that was very easy. This has got green interwoven into blue and teal colours in the cover, but there's green in there. This is The Cloisters. This is by Cathy Hayes. Came out in January this year. Very excited to read it. It's kind of dark academia-y, centric around this very old tarot card that's been long lost and then is discovered by somebody who starts working in the Gothic section of this museum. So I'm excited, it sounds really good. Also, this edition is so pretty! So, first book on the TBR. Roll number 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. People and places. Okay, people and places. Multiple protagonists. Will Grady Hendrix How to Sell a Haunted House fit that? Hang on. Okay, we're going back to my office again. Right, I'm pretty sure that this book follows a brother and sister. Hang on. Okay, so it starts off with saying that there's Louise, who has found out her parents have died and she has to sell their house. There's a lot of things she doesn't want to do, and it says mostly she doesn't want to deal with her brother Mark, who never left their hometown. So I think that they have to come together. Yes, I'm counting it. I think it counts. Okay, I think it counts. Some of these prompts are quite difficult to know until you've read the book, but I feel like this is going to have multiple protagonists. Hang on, I could just check and see if the chapters are split. Nope, they're not. Well, if it's not, I wanted it on my TBR anyway, so this gets it on. Multiple protagonists, Grady Hendrix, How to Sell a Haunted House. Grady Hendrix is such a good horror thriller writer. This one follows hopefully 2 people. Their parents have died. One of them, the sister, has had to come back to their hometown and the brother has never left, and they have to sell the parents' house, but it doesn't want to be sold and the house has other plans. It sounds really good. Roll number 3, this is going well, I'm optimistic. Okay, roll number 3, be kind to me. Appearance, that was a really crap roll. Okay, we have appearance again. Cover with an animal on it. Okay, books with animals on the front of them. I've realised that I have to get my Patreon book club pick on here, which I feel like is definitely not going to have an animal on the front of it. No. It's the sentence. I do need to read that this month and I completely forgot that I needed to get that on my TBR. So at some point that one does have to go on the TBR, but it cannot fit for this prompt. Hang on, what has an animal on it? I really want to read this, which is a non-fiction, Diary of a Tuscan Bookshop, and I thought there might be a cat on the front. Oh my god, wait, is there? Hang on, is that a cat in the suitcase? I have 20 seconds, I can't tell. I think it's a cat. I think it's a cat, I'm claiming it. Oh, the lighting is awful. I'm claiming it's a cat. Okay, I think that there is a cat on the cover of this book, but it's a bit hard to tell. Hang on. Right there, I think that's a cat in there, but because of the metallic shine, oh, look at that angle, I think it's a cat. I'm having it. This is Diary of a Tuscan Bookshop by Alba Donatai. This is a non-fiction. I don't often go for non-fiction, but I read a non-fiction this month in January and I really enjoyed it, so I'd like to try and read more. This is following a woman who opens up a bookshop in her hometown after having a very, very busy life within publishing. She opens up this bookshop, thinks it's going to fail within the first year, or doesn't have high hopes that it's going to get past that first year, and everything ends up really surprising her, and this is her memoir of that time. Roll number 4? Yes, roll number 4. Okay. Oh, that was a really crap roll as well. Oh well, title. Okay, roll number 4 was title. This is the prompt. I really need to try and get my Patreon book club on now. Pick on. I didn't really think about that at the start of this video. Hopefully I can get that in. Title contains magic reference. Ha, okay. So the Patreon book club pick is The Sentence, which I feel like is probably not considered a magic reference. Oh. Okay. Okay. What do we have? I've got loads of books that I want to get to, but there's so many now that they're kind of all trying to fight for space in my brain, so I'm trying to remember what's what. But a lot of them aren't fantasy, which means there's probably not a magic reference in the title. Ah! Oh crap. How long do I have? I have 15 seconds. No! Ah! Oh my god, why? Why can't I see anything that I want to read with a magic reference in the title? 3 seconds! I'm not gonna be able to do it, am I? No! Okay, I need to get a forfeit card. That was a panic. There were books that I have on my shelves, obviously, with magic references in the title, but I really wanted to pick from a certain amount of books and it didn't happen. So to the forfeit card I go. Okay, here is the forfeit card. Oh, I dropped it. Here it is. Whatever is on this card is what I have to pick, and I can't remember if I set a timer for this or not. I don't know. I'll look at the prompt and then decide. Last book I bought. Okay, I don't need to set a timer for that. Hang on. So as discussed, these are the last books that I bought. I bought them 2 days ago in a charity shop. I've got the Book of Hidden Things, The Dutch House, and The First Time Lauren Paling Died. Out of these three, I'm very intrigued by The First Time Lauren Paling Died by Alison Rudd, so I think I'm gonna go for that. I love it when books go through different time zones, and this has Lauren being born in the 60s, a child of the 70s, she's 13 years old the first time she dies. She's a teenager in the 80s, falls in love in the 90s, and each time she dies, new lives begin for the people who loved her while Lauren enters a brand new life too. But in each of Lauren's lives, a man called Peter Stanning disappears, and in each of her lives, Lauren sets out to find him. I just think that sounds so good. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna pop this one on. I'm quite pleased with this pick. I'd never heard of this before seeing it on the shelves in the Oxfam bookshop, but I think it sounds interesting, so it's going on the TBR. I really need this to be any book, so I need this to be a 2 or something that hopefully allows me to put the sentence on my TBR. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Difficult. Great. Right, not ideal to get difficult when I need a specific book on my TBR. Thinking about unhauling. Okay, what am I thinking about unhauling? I don't think it would be in here if I was thinking about unhauling it, or if I've already read it, I'd be thinking about unhauling it, in which case I'm not going to do a reread. Damn it. This is a stupid prompt. I'm gonna go to the shelves in my bedroom because I always say that I don't go to those ones enough. I do need to do new fictionary prompts, and some people have suggested putting prompts in for the shelves in my bedroom because I never end up picking the books from here because I forget about them. Okay, so we've got 25 seconds. What have I spoken about nearly unhauling in the past? This Starfish I've spoken about unhauling, but I honestly feel like if I put that on my TBR, I'm not necessarily going to get around to reading it. Also, oh no, wait, hang on, where is it? I've lost my own books. There we go. This, possibly? I feel like that's the 2 that come to mind. Oh dear. Okay, so these 2 are the 2 that I have picked out. I know I only needed to pick 1, but apparently I picked 2. So I've got Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. This is a YA, and I'm reading a lot less YA at the moment. I absolutely adore this cover. But the reason that I have not unhauled this one in the past is because every time I read the blurb, I get pulled back into it. I like the fact that this is focusing on a character trying to get into their dream art school, and that is the thing that pulls me back in. I've also picked up Less by Andrew Sean Greer. I know very little about this one. I think this came in some sort of box. I can't remember why I've got this one. It follows a failed novelist about to turn 50. I mean, it's won awards and people say it's really good. So, okay, I'm going to kind of put both of these ones on the TBR and try and get to one of them. And if I don't get to it, maybe that'll be the push to unhaul it. But if you've read either of these, let me know what you thought and let me know if you think I would enjoy either one of them, because I'm torn. So yeah, both go on the TBR. So that gives me this stack for February. 6 books, even though I said it was going to be 5. But we've got The Cloisters by Cathy Hayes. We have Grady Hendrix's How to Sell a Haunted House. Diary of a Tuscan Bookshop by Alba Donatai. The First Time Lauren Paling Died by Alison Rudd. Less by Andrew Sean Greer. And Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. Pretty decent stack. It's heavier than I would have liked. Like, literally it's heavier than I would have liked. But there's a mix. There's some horror. There's some fantasy, non-fiction. Some kind of time-bending stuff. And some contemporaries, so we'll see how I go. As I said, this is always a guide, so I may step slightly to the side of this TBR throughout the month. I think I did kind of well with my January TBR. kind of. I do like having the guidelines of the books, but at the same time not holding myself too accountable with it, so it's a good balance. But that is my February TBR. Short month in February, busy month at the start of February for me because I will be in Paris, which I'm very excited about. So let's hope it goes well. If you do want to see me reading any of these books, I will probably be doing a couple of reading vlogs throughout February, but I always do a wrap up at the end of each month anyway, where I share my final thoughts on the books. So that will be coming at the end of February, and my January wrap up will let you know what I did actually end up reading from my January TBR next week. I don't know. I have a lot of videos balancing and spinning on many plates at the moment, but I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what books are on your February TBR. You can subscribe to see more of my face and more of my adventures, such as my Paris trip, which I'm very excited to be vlogging. You can also find a link down below to my Patreon, where I have lots of live shows, and my 2-year Patreon anniversary coming up in February, which is very exciting. So there'll be a celebration live show for all tiers if you did want to join. There'll be reading sprints and just a nice community feel. It's such a lovely space. You can also find my online shop link down below. Thank you so much for watching. Keep smiling and stay positive.